Good evening. Due to the rising number of COVID-19 cases in the country, today being Wednesday, 4th of November 2020, the President has addressed the nation, and here is what he had to say.
The protocols and guidelines that were previously eased are today reviewed as follows. The first, a special enforcement unit made the nationwide curfew is extended up to the 3rd of January 2021. And 8, that beginning tonight, the 4th of November, the curfew will now be enforced between 10 p.m. Number 5 and 4 a.m. that all political gatherings and rallies are suspended for a period of 60 days, and this to take effect immediately. And anyone wishing to hold such meetings should do so in town halls, and in doing so must observe all COVID protocols, including limiting the attendees to 1/3 seating capacity of the hall and the wearing of face masks. And 9, and that's 6, in consequence of the variation of the 10 p.m. curfew, all bars, restaurants, and other establishments open to the public must now close by 9 p.m. Is that today I direct that all cabinet secretaries, chief administrative secretaries, and principal secretaries to scale down all in-person engagements within government and to take appropriate steps to foster the discharge of their mandates by themselves and their officers through virtual means where possible. Similarly, and to protect government staffers drawn from vulnerable groups, I direct that all state and public officers aged above 58 years or who are immunocompromised to work remotely. This with the exemption of those serving the nation in critical sectors. Number 3, with respect to the examination classes that have already resumed learning, I hereby order that they continue with their learning and examination preparations, but under heightened health safety measures, and with that, also order that all basic education classes resuming in-person learning in January of 2021. 4, to foster the state's preparedness towards the reopening of all classes in our learning institutions in January, I urge and encourage members of Parliament to engage their respective NGAF and CDEF boards with a view of finding ways to augment the existing interventions that are geared towards the reopening of our schools. I urge them to make investments that focus on additional hand-washing points in our schools, on the provision of face masks to our children, on general sanitization in our schools, as well as the physical distancing of students and teachers. And 8, that beginning tonight, the 4th of November, the curfew will now be enforced between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning. 10, In view of the restrictions within the hospitality sector, I further urge all operators of hotels, restaurants, eateries, bars, and other establishments that sell alcohol on wholesale or retail terms to do all that is necessary to ensure enhanced compliance with the Ministry of Health's guidelines and protocols. And those who fail will have their establishments immediately shut down. 11, that the directions governing religious gatherings remain unchanged. Any indoor religious gathering, other than for the purpose of a wedding or a funeral, shall have no more than 1/3 of its normal seating capacity occupied at a given sitting. The Ministry of Health guidelines remain in force. The Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government is hereby directed to ensure strict enforcement, and those who fail to meet those requirements will be stopped from further and 12 gatherings. County governments to maintain isolation facilities in a state of preparedness through continuous capacity building for healthcare workers, provision of adequate PPEs for healthcare workers, and continuous implementation of infection prevention control measures, and the provision of pipes or portable oxygen. 13. I want to make it abundantly clear that where there is an upsurge of COVID-19 cases in a specific county, the national government will consult the affected county to issue localized lockdowns and movement restrictions as may be necessary to stem the spread of the disease. 14. County governments and other relevant government agencies to enhance and strictly enforce all public health social measures, including hand washing, social distancing, and mandatory wearing of masks in public places. 14. County governments and other relevant government agencies to enhance and strictly enforce all public health social measures, including hand washing, social distancing, and mandatory wearing of masks in public places.
Guys, in as much as most of us are doubting COVID-19, you and me, we all have lost someone because of COVID-19. COVID-19 is real. Manze wacheni ujinga. Put on your mask, sanitize, and just keep your distance. Till next time, guys. Bye. This was Michelle Ajulu. Bye. Good evening.